And I'll say this about Montreal, Frank. You know what? They've actually, you talk about exhibition games. Montreal filled the stadium for exhibition games last year involving the Blue Jays and the Reds, and they had 35,000.
I love Montreal. I think Montreal's worthy to have a professional baseball team. The Alouettes have become an incredible franchise for the CFL. The Montreal Canadiens are the Montreal Canadiens. And I even think that the Montreal could support a basketball team, 100%.
Well, I don't think you're wrong on either score, but if this happened, if the Tampa Bay Rays said on next Saturday or Sunday after the final game, we're moving to Montreal, it would be the greatest thing that ever happened for a number of reasons, not the least of which is they would be in the American League East. They would have Boston, New York, and Toronto as their rivals. All their games with those teams would be close to being filled. Baltimore
100%. But think about this, Billy. Think about even bigger, the bigger picture. They could stay in St. Pete's. Hear me out. They are the team of the Montreal Expos. They bring back the Montreal Expos, and the Rays keep St. Pete's as their spring training.
Yeah. That wouldn't do it. That wouldn't do any harm. That's a good branding point. But
that would give the people who are hungry, the very few people that are hungry for the Rays, right, to still have a bit of connection with them.
And the other good news for Montreal would be that the Rays, they would acquire the entire organization, which means you're acquiring the scouting, you're acquiring all the young prospects. I mean, the Rays have been known for 10 years to be able to nourish young pitchers. I mean, this is what they've done. I mean, this is where David Price grew up. You have Chris Archer.
And there's businesses in Montreal that could really sustain. I mean, the Saputo Group, which is a first-class organization where almost 53 or 54% of all domestic cheeses produced in Canada come from the Saputo Group, and they're high quality product. Very, very. Mr. Lino Saputo, which I know personally, a very good friend of my dad, is a philanthropist, a successful millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire, and he's done some great things for Montreal. Hopefully, he's listening to me because he would be capable of putting the money where his mouth is. Because
you've got to have somebody, Frank, that's well financed. Whether it's the Seagrams, the Bronfmans, whether it's the Caputos, somebody's
Saputos, or the Saputos or the Bronfman. You're right. But what I'm saying is, Montreal is a great sports town. They deserve a baseball team, and they deserve a basketball team. I believe a basketball team would be very popular and very successful in Montreal.
Not for the stupidity of Bud Selig, who's now back where he belongs, selling used cars. The team would still be there.
Well, you know what, Billy, and I've talked about this many times on many different platforms. People are going to say, well, you know what, the Expos weren't drawing fans. They were drawing, 10,000 fans their last couple of years. Just remember,
the fans didn't want to go there because they were afraid the stadium was going to fall on them.
Yeah, the Big O was a dump.
Without being vulgar, right? The stadium is brutal.
Yeah, the Big O was a dump, but just remember the scenario and just think of yourself as a fan and what you had to watch and what you had to endure when the baseball went on strike, and you had the best team, the best record, you were primed to win your first championship, and then all of a sudden the game goes away for over a year, and then the game comes back and you've got nothing left and your team sucks because you've traded off all of your assets and you didn't get anything back. So you try being a fan of that and try showing up at the ballpark as a season ticket holder. It's not easy to do.